So, good evening, everyone. Good evening. There's 30 plus people in here. That was pathetic. Good evening, everyone. Good. That's better. First up this evening with her speech is Hayley. Take it away.
Right, okay. So first of all, hello everyone. I'm sure I was going to say not many of you know me. It's very unfortunate, but that joke doesn't really apply because everyone in this room probably does know me. So I'll be giving this speech on behalf of our father, Paul, and me and Sophie both come to the conclusion Daddy probably wouldn't be able to speak without crying about his favourite daughter. So that's the agreement. He has me warned now that we have to keep this short and sweet because Daddy, if anyone knows him very well, he has his eyes fixated on a pint and a cigarette at the end. So we're going to wrap it up. So, first I'd like to welcome you all on behalf of the Quigg family to this long overdue wedding of Sophie and Craig. Now, I say long overdue because Sophie has been referring to herself as Sophie Mcmaster since she was about 18, ringing around the Chinese as a ballymoney for a half and half of curry sauce. So, this is a big occasion in the Quigg family. It's so big, the big Franks flew over from America just to witness it finally happening. When the Quiggs finally hand over Sophie to Mcmasters, we can't thank you enough, honestly. So, now that the formalities are done, I'd like to begin, or keep this short and sweet, as I know some people after us can certainly talk, and talk, and talk. Now, Quentin, I'm not pointing any fingers, right? So, I'd like to begin first with the beautiful bride that is my big sister. I'm trying not to tear up. So, growing up, me and Sophie are quite literally the opposite in every possible way you can imagine, particularly when it comes to brains. Now, we're not going to get into that in detail, but, you know. So, but despite that, Sophie still has managed to teach me quite a lot of things in life. So what actually has Sophie managed to teach me? That's a very good question. So Sophie's managed to teach me about all the things in life in the most intrinsic details. As sisters go, me and Sophie definitely know too much about each other's personal and private lives, as Joe tells me quite frequently. Sophie, now, the advice that Sophie has always given me has got me in more trouble than good, but that's a life lesson in itself, isn't it? Sophie has taught me that no question is ever too silly, nor is any answer, and I take this into my classroom every single day with me. Now, there's a brave age gap between my sister and my students, but you know, I use it well. Sophie's taught me how to drive, or rather how I like to express it, how not to drive. When I was driving into Ballymoney with Sophie, and she's seen a particularly pretty cloud that day that ended us on the opposite side of the road, I realised my sister can't actually drive. So I knew this is not what's meant to happen. Sophie's taught me when it comes to driving that if it's snowing, you probably shouldn't take the back roads from Ballymoney to Resharkin, otherwise you're going to crash your beloved Vauxhall Astra. She also taught me that if you hit someone's car, you should probably just not lie about it and tell the truth, especially if you're going to marry the fella 13 years later. So, Sophie's also taught me how to fight, okay? Now, when I say me and Sophie were the opposite to each other, that also correlated in school. I was the girl that got picked on in school, and Sophie was definitely the type of girl that would have bullied me in school. So Sophie wanted to prepare me when I went into secondary to make sure everything was okay. So when Sophie found out I was being picked on, she wanted to make sure I was safe. Now, we didn't follow Sophie's plan, which was to turn up at the 3:30 bell to beat up 3 11-year-olds when Sophie was 16 years of age. Instead, she decided to teach me how to fight. Now, I promised Sophie there'd be no slavering. And so this lesson ended, Daddy, I didn't actually mean to punch her in the head. So there we go. Now, on a serious note, what has Sophie actually taught me? Sophie's taught me many things in life that someday I hope to acquire myself. One thing she's taught me is how to be a mother, and what a great one she is, particularly to the most beautiful children, which is Leanna and Troy, that are not paying attention whatsoever. Leanna, she is a real life princess today, and Troy is trying his hardest not to take his clothes off this service. She has taught me patience beyond belief, especially you would need it if you're listening to Troy and Leanna for 30 minutes, especially if you have Craig in the room at the same time. She has taught me how to go above and beyond for her family, complaining every single step of the way, but in the end she gets it done. And so I speak very much on behalf of the Quigg family and the Mcmasters when I say how proud we are to have watched you become the woman and the mother that you are today. So. Now, moving on to Craig. I still remember the very first few nights Craig drove out to Resharkin to see my sister on a moped at 30 miles per hour. I genuinely don't know why, but here we are, okay? Now, Craig has been in my life since I was 11, and so he's experienced a lot of things with me. He was the first Bebo friend I ever had. He was the first boy to take me out for dinner, obviously at the Sizzling Sausage. Sophie had about 4 phone calls that day being like, who is Craig with? Why is he with another woman? That actually is true. And he's been my fashion stylist and I've been his. He's also been a listening ear to any problems I ever had. Now, right enough, Craig does admit he doesn't listen half the time, but that's not what we're going to talk about right now. And so, all of my life, I've very much seen Craig as a brother. He's not just my sister's partner, but he grew up to me as my big brother. And so, today, although you've been part of our family for many, many years, Craig, I would like to officially welcome you into the Quigg family. And God love you, because you know what it's like. You've made the decision, me and Sophie didn't. And so what I'd like us all to do is just raise a glass or a bottle on my behalf and just say a lovely toast to Sophie and Craig Mcmaster. Sophie and Craig Mcmaster. And take it away, Ryan.
That was very good, Hayley. I'm glad I don't have to follow it. Up next, we have the father of the groom, Quentin Mcmaster.
You're 100% right, Ryan. I was thinking that myself. Sorry, Craig, I'm just up here because of the space. Right, here we go. I just want to start by saying Sophie looked absolutely amazing. Amazing. And I didn't get many opportunities today to speak to you, but I just want to let you know that. But anyway, here's my speech. Craig is our baby of the house. He couldn't wait to get here when he came within half an hour of Juliana going into labour on the 27th of October 1992. And to this day, he still doesn't like to wait for anything. But after meeting Sophie at high school, he quickly moved her into our house. and that was great for us, as she now had the responsibility of getting him up for work each morning, and the years of shouting and throwing water over him had now become her problem. Craig wasn't interested in school and often had a wee sleep in class. And of course, Sophie was always there to stick up for him and say, "Oh, the wee pet's tired." He never gave us any bother. Well, apart from the odd occasion when he liked to drive his car without a full licence, or the times he liked to do a wee bit of diffing around the town. He liked the good things in life, the best of clothes, trainers, etc. He was able to talk Juliana, you know who was coming next. He was able to talk Juliana around to buying him these things with his wee hug and his cute smile, saying, "Well, Mommy, how was your day today?" And then he dropped the one-liner, "Oh, guess what I saw today?" And it's nice. Craig has grown up to be a kind, caring young man and is always available to help you out in any way he can. Craig and Sophie moved out into their home and soon became a family of 3 with Bella. And then came our Leanna, who brightens up all our days. 2 years later along came Troy, the little rascal of the house, who has the cute little grin, just like his daddy had, and has his mammy wrapped round his little finger. So they are just the perfect family, and we love them dearly. Juliana and I would like to formally welcome Sophie into our family and wish you both many happy years of married life. I hope you all have a great evening, and could we all raise a toast to the new Mr. and Mrs. Mcmaster. So just one final mention to all our family members who are no longer with us, and to Granny Gee, who would love to have been here, but sadly she is in hospital. And let's raise a toast to them all. Cheers. Cheers. Now, that was my speech. Juliana came upon this here, and she reckoned she probably couldn't stand up and say this, so she asked me to do it. All right, can't see these glasses when I take them. So here we go. To my daughter-in-law, we both love the same man. I love a man who, as a little boy, asked me to kiss him, fix his breakfast, and tuck him into bed at night. I cried at his struggles and rejoiced at his triumphs. I spent many sleepless nights wondering if I did everything I could to raise him to be a loyal husband. You are the woman who found my little boy. Just get a wee bit emotional myself here. He was the man you wanted to marry, the man whose life you wanted to share throughout eternity. For all the prayers I have ever prayed, you are truly the answer. For you love the man who is my son. For that and so much more, I will forever love you. All right. That's me, man.
Thanks very much, Quentin. Another brilliant speech. So the moment everybody's maybe been talking about, maybe waiting for, is the best man speech. I'll not build it up to be anything it isn't. So it's my turn now. Greg's next. So anyway, I'd like to welcome everybody here today. So good evening, everyone. For me, it's an honour to be standing here as Craig's best man today, though it could have been so much different, as I might not have been standing here today. Nobody knows where this is going. This goes right back to the first time I met Craig, and that was 15 years ago. I started courting Craig's sister, Leanne. One day I went to pick Leanne up for a date, rang the doorbell, Leanne answered, said, "Wait in the conservatory, I'll be back in a minute." A few minutes pass, in comes Craig, a young Craig. Short, blonde streaks in his hair, acting tough. Much like he looks like today, just without the blonde streaks. Thankfully. Says to me, "All right, mate." My reply was, "Aye." Then comes in QJ. Also, blonde streaks in his hair. Short as well. Says to Craig, "How my jeans you're wearing?" Craig says, "No." To which QJ says, "Get them off you." Craig says, "Off QJ." A fight breaks out. QJ wrestles Craig to the ground, pulls the jeans off him, and finished with, "Didn't wear them again." So Craig's left, curled up on the floor, and just a pair of whitish, brownish coloured Y-fronts. And I'm there thinking, should I make my escape? Looking at the front door, then in comes Leanne, says, "Let's go." Craig runs off upstairs, and here I am to tell the story. After a while, I got to meet Sophie, climbing out the boot of Craig's car. I don't know how long he was keeping her in there for, but when I seen her, I knew they were a good match. She also had blonde streaks in her hair. It's been great and eventful watching them grow and fall in love with each other up to now. And they're blessed with two wonderful children, in Leanna and Troy, that bring so much happiness and make their family complete. On behalf of the groomsmen and bridesmaids, I'd like to thank Craig and Sophie for including us in your special day. Thanks, Sophie. You've organised a fantastic day. Craig, I hope you're enjoying it too. Talking of bridesmaids, aren't they looking beautiful today? Yeah. You've done a great job in getting Sophie out nearly on time. So, raise your glasses to the bridesmaids. And to the groomsmen, Max and QJ, you're holding up well. So a wee toast to the groomsmen. And also to the new Mrs. Sophie Mcmaster, who's looking amazing today. So raise your glasses and toast. So being married myself, I should have some great advice to hand down to Craig here. But all I have is just easier to agree with your wife. In all seriousness, it's said, don't marry someone you can live with, but marry someone you can't live without. We all know Craig can't live without Sophie, because who would get him up in the morning and who would pop him to bed at night? To end my speech, I'll finish off with a toast, so if everybody could be upstanding, please. If you must fall, fall in love. If you must cheat, cheat death. May you be poor in misfortune and rich in blessings. May the wind be always at your back, and tonight may your glass always be full. To the new Mr. and Mrs. Mcmaster, to Craig and Sophie. To Craig and Sophie.